forgot what I was going to say. So the interior of this car, it's not that bad actually. You know, I initially thought that the headlining needed replacing and that kind of thing, but it's actually in remarkably good condition. Possibly the sun visors, but I'm nitpicking with the majority of it, so I don't need to do that much to it. But there is one thing that's been bugging me, and that's the rev counter. Now, the rev counter is actually from an SE5. No, is it from an SE5? It might even be from an SE4 from the coupe, because it's a positive earth one. I was going to be doing a swap with someone on the Scimitar page, and then I just found one on eBay and went, hey, that's not badly priced, so ta-da! One of the cool things about this particular one is it comes with wires and things still sticking out. As a result of that, I can kind of gauge where things are supposed to go. It also seems to come with the bulbs holders. Eventually, I want to start the engine on this, and if I do start it, I don't know whether having the wrong earth on that, or whether it's even connected or whatever, will damage it, or I don't really know about rev counters or electronics or electrics of any kind. All I know is that this would look much better in that hole than that one does. And being that it's going to connect to the engine and make it go brum brum, you know, it makes sense to change it, especially considering that the dashboard is currently held on with one screw that I sort of bodged into place. It doesn't actually fit, but the whole thing is sort of ready to come out. I dare argue that most Scimitar owners would just go, oh yeah, it's like that standard. Let's see what happens, eh? Do you know, I was going to be doing a time-lapse, but it just occurred to me there's actually sort of more that I need to do than just remove the dashboard to get to the rev counter. I believe the steering wheel's going to have to come off. And in order to get the steering wheel off, I now need to get this rubber thingamy off. Ooh, there we go. Right, so that's off. Cool. Steering wheel has actually been off fairly recently, so it shouldn't be too big of a job. Didn't even have to try, just oh dear. However, one thing that I'm definitely going to make sure I do is keep that nut on there before I actually pull the steering wheel, hopefully easily, off the splines. What riveting footage you're filming here, Johnny. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I wish it was that easy the first time I did it. So, steering wheel. With some rather interesting, what I'm pretty sure are from a planer or something. I'm pretty sure they're actually blades. But it's okay, because I'm changing it. Don't want the steering wheel. Need to keep all of that in good condition and good stead, especially for selling. So there we go. I've now got to the dashboard. This is something that I heartily recommend anyone who's working on a car doing, which is get a little trolley that holds tools and things that you've just removed, because it just means everything that you've just worked on is in one place. So I've got the headlights and the horns and stuff down there. That's not the tool that I was looking for. How about this one? Hammer works. See, this should be a lot harder. That there would have normally been like this indicator thing fitted somewhere there. At least the wiring and everything on this bit looks fairly original. Let's see what happens if we try and bring this sort of out a bit. Oh, glove box in the way. to bring it too hard, just in case I either break the dashboard or pull some wires out that I don't want to. Oh, I hope that wasn't a label for something. It was a label for something. Fuel gauge panel light. Damn, I was rather hoping no one had been behind here before and I wasn't going to find any labels. Well, of course someone's been here before. There's glue around everything. Right, so that appears to be as far as it wants to go. There's a cable there that... Oh, that just pulled. Oh, now I've got my hand stuck. Come on, glove. There we go. So, that's as far as that wants to go for now. Oh god, there's a bulb thing there, there's some wires that aren't connected to stuff. Oh, what do you do? Well, that's interesting, there are some big multi-connector things. Let's bring you in for a look, eh? Right, so we've got some relatively kind of fresh, well not fresh, but good condition-ish looking wiring, or I dare say that that multi-connector isn't fully connected, and most of the sound deadening is not on the car. Yeah, I'm glad I took this off. There's plenty to do behind there. So, as it turns out, having this one here with the cables already in is an absolute godsend. Things that I've noticed as I've been in here, the speedometer doesn't actually have one of those holding rings in place. Old rev counter does, it's rusty as hell. It's clearly been out and someone's sort of had some sense, because there have been labels, as I sort of proved earlier when I accidentally pulled one off, which is in beautiful handwriting, it must be said, and it's on CK pages. I wonder if I've got the next piece of, or the previous piece of paper to that. Some of the panel light bulb and things, they're kind of just not there or not connected. Like for instance, that's supposed to be connected to the plastic thing that's behind it, and I can see the plastic thing that's behind it, but it won't actually extend or reach far enough to get to here. So I dare say I know why that snapped off. Also, I have no idea which way that went in. I've just pulled it out and now it won't go back in. Maybe it went in the other way. I don't know. Did it go in that way? Whatever. So, we've got there's some labels which are all completely illegible because the tape's gone yellow. But I dare say if I rip the tape off I'll be able to read the labels. But I shouldn't need to because it's quite simple. It's actually very foolproof. There's only 3 bulbs here. One of them is a completely different fitting. If you look at this red one here, the red and white wire goes to one that's got a funny little plug on the back and has a sort of claw-like grippy thing. The other 2, which are to a green and white wire and a blue and white wire, they go to the bottom ones, which, yes, it's fairly simple because I have this one fitted, but I am guessing that green and white and blue and white probably coincide with... Oh, no, it doesn't. Oh well. But being that it's green, white and blue and white, I'm quite sure that I'd be able to go into the manual and just, you know, see which colour goes to what. But then the rest of it, well, there's one spade connector, which goes to here, and then there's a bullet connector, and then there's a socket, bullet was the opposite way round thing, and then there's some earth wires which just go between the 2 bulbs and the thing, and then you're done, and you just screw it on. Sorry, I was watching what I was doing, not the camera there. I have no idea whether any of that camera work was any good. I've also just spotted there's a label there that says ignition, which is funny because that goes to the speedometer. How bad is the wiring in this thing? Right, let's... Oh. What, have they glued this in? Maybe the dashboard had been painted. Oh. Well, that should be it then. So there we go. Yeah, all looks good to me. Rum, 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 rum. I think the return spring's good. Hopefully that will work. And hopefully this will work. Bring it in. And... oh, doesn't that look better? He says as he smudges it all. And now we put the ring thingy on it. There's wires in the way. So that should go in there. And then we get these doodlies. So these actually sit in the ring like that to make it secure. So why doesn't the Speedo have one? How is that even held in? Have they just glued that one in as well? And geniusly what I've done is I've left the complex bit of actually putting the wires on until it's in a more inaccessible place and I can't really see what I'm doing. I mean, it's only what Reliant would have done, isn't it? So, oh, it'll do. Yes, be alright. All British cars are built. And the same guys, it'll be alright. Even if it's not built in Birmingham, that has nothing to do with it. It just seems right to say it in that accent, even though some of the greatest machines in the world have come from Birmingham and the Midlands. And also one of my favourite musicians, Mr. Lemmy Gilmister. You've got to announce it like James Hetfield of Metallica. There we go. Right. There's got to be a way to move the camera. Can I bring it up here? Now that's brilliant. I wish I'd thought of that earlier. See, now you can actually see, you know, some wires and things. So I've now got a red and white wire here, and then I will simply place that. Might as well keep that label. So what does that one say? Rev counter spunnel. Oh, panel lights. Okay. My God, I think it means that the red and white ones are all panel lights. I can see red and white going to all of them. My God, I've learned a thing, maybe. And there we've got the blue and white one. Ooh! Where did that go? Oh, I really want to go... I'll try again. I really want a GoPro strapped to my head, so I don't actually need to concern myself for where a camera is set up. I just turn it on and do the work. So in theory, the blue and white one here should have its own... oh, I've connected it up there. Okay, that'll do. So that now goes in there. Spin that round a bit, make that cable go out the way. I've missed. There we go, that's the plate. Push it back a bit. Get the spinny nut thing. I suppose all nuts are spinny nuts, aren't they? To some degree. Da, 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 da. And then stick my head round to double check that's definitely in the right place. Okay, spade connector thing. You go in the back onto, oops, I missed, onto the spade connector. And then there's a sockety thing which must go onto the bullet. Click, and then a bullety thing that must go into the socket. Oh, a nice satisfying clunk. Is that it? Have I done it? I hope it works. Both of them, actually. I hope the one that I sell works, and I hope the one that I bought works. But then again, there's the joy of classic cars. You buy a part and you go, excellent, that'll do for my new project. I don't actually know whether it'll improve it or not, but yay. So this is really fun, isn't it? Right, hopefully I can just grip the bejesus out of that. Yep, it's working really, really well, that. Why are you the wrong shape? I think I understand why the other one was glued on. Oh! That's much more secure. I've still got some tightening strength left on that one. Are we straight? It is. That nearly stays straight. That'll do me. I can't adjust it from the front, so that'll do. So that is a rev counter, in theory connected correctly, but definitely looking better. That was definitely worth like an hour's work, even though I've accidentally pulled out these which aren't connected to anything. And then of course, I need to find out what some of the extra wires that aren't connected to anything actually do. There's some in there. I don't know where they go or what they do. At least I learned that the red and white wires are probably the panel lights. And, because there's all of these switch wires. But I've only got 4 of the 6 switches, so... oh well. You know the expression, just because you can, doesn't mean you should. Well, I say, just because someone says I shouldn't, doesn't mean I can't. Ah, dear.